The Emergency Worker Hiring Test is a standardized assessment used by government organizations, typically in the emergency services field. Such fields include police, fire, medical services, and disaster management. This test is used to assess knowledge, skills, and abilities, as well as aptitudes of the candidates applying for the positions in this sector of the economy. Hi there, this is Vadim from Online Training for Everyone, and in this video, I'll share with you how to pass Critical Emergency Dispatcher Employment Assessment Test. The Critical Emergency Worker Assessment Test typically includes various modules and sections that assess different aspects of candidates' abilities. Number one typical module is scenario-based assessment. This module presents hypothetical emergency scenarios and evaluates how candidates respond to them. Second module is decision-making, where candidate is assessed on their decision-making skills by presenting them scenarios where quick and appropriate decision must be made. Another type of module is map reading module, which assesses candidates on their ability to interpret the map and provide directions to emergency responders. Another type of module is prioritization. This section of the test includes and tests candidates' ability to prioritize tasks and emergencies based on their urgencies. Another module is cognitive abilities, where a candidate is assessed on their problem-solving skills, critical thinking, decision-making, and situational judgment. There are a lot of other potential modules that could be used in the test, but the good thing is that in this video, you will have everything you need to get prepared for the Critical Emergency Worker Assessment Test. Make sure to watch this video from the beginning to end, and if necessary, multiple times, until you understand all the questions and know how to solve and answer them easily. If you would like to practice with the most recent questions for this test, make sure to check the description of this video as well as the comments of this video. And now, let's go ahead and get started so we can get you prepared. Here's an amazing question to test your navigational skills, as you need to determine the most efficient path on the subway. You're presented with the map. On the map, you see multiple stops, and you need to determine the most efficient way to get from station R3 to station P9. And you need to do it based on the fewest numbers of stops. Once you've completed your analysis, you need to select your answer out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, start at R3, go to NB6, go to GRE5, go to P9. Choice B, start at R3, go to R5, then go to LB4, and then go to P9. Choice C, start at R3, go to G1, then go to G6, then to P9. And last but not least, choice D, start at R3, go to O1, then go to O4, and then go to P9. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. If you need more time, feel free to pause this video to see if you can come up with the right solution. On my end, I think I know how I am going to answer, so I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the solution. And obviously, if you disagree or have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. Since we're presented with the map of subway, let's better understand what subway is, as it is going to be helpful to answer this question. The subway system in a large city is typically an extensive network of interconnected railway lines, primarily located underground. This system typically has multiple lines, each designed by unique color, name, or number, making it easy for people to navigate. Now let's take a close look at the map to see how we can better understand it. Each line on the map is represented by unique color and letter. Stations are numbered based on their position along the lines, starting from the beginning of the line and progressing to its end. For the most lines, the numbering begins from the northmost station, but for some, it starts at the westmost station. We also are presented with the compass, which points north, but we can determine west, east, and south directions based on the direction of the north. What's interesting here is that if you look close enough, you can determine that names of the stations match the colors of the lines. For example, NB stands for navy blue, PR stands for purple, LB stands for light blue, R for red, G for green, BL for black, P for pink, and GRE for gray. I think now we have a very good understanding of the map and we are ready to answer the question. To answer it, we need to navigate from starting point of the choice to the end point of the choice based on a predetermined path. As we move from start point to an end point, we need to determine number of stations we go through, and then select the choice which will be represented by the least number of stations. Let's start with the choice A. We start at the point of R3 and then go to NB6, so there are 2 stations in between. Then we go to GRE5, which is gray 5, which is also the same station as P8. And between NB6 and P8, or GRE5, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stations. And then the last point is P9, which means, if we calculate it closely, that between R3 and P9 there are 8 stations. Let's count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So to get from R3 to P9 using the path of choice A, you need to go through 8 stations. Let's look at the choice B. Here we're going through a little bit different path. Let's count how many stations we have to go through. And we go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stations. Now let's look at the choice C. Here we have to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stations. And last choice, choice D, we have to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stations. Based on our calculations, the correct answer is choice B, because it requires the least number of stations to get from the starting point to the end point. Did you get to the same answer? If not, please make sure to post your solution and rationale in comments so we can all learn. Here's a very interesting question where you need to determine whom to contact. You are a worker at a city emergency services. A caller reported that a group of unidentified people in masks walked into the bank. Who should be contacted? And you need to select one out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, police. Choice B, fire department. Choice C, bank security. And last but not least, choice D, special squad. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. Maybe pause this video to see if you can come up with the solution. On my end, I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. To better understand the correct answer, let's look at the situation. We have unidentified individuals wearing masks walking into the bank. In this scenario, you are a worker at City Emergency Services and you're responding to the caller who reports this situation. I think that the recommended course of actions here is to contact the police. The reason is that police is responsible for law enforcement and maintaining public safety. In this scenario, police's expertise is needed to assess the situation, investigate the potential threat, and take appropriate actions to ensure the safety of both bank staff and customers. Let's look at other options presented. Other options are B, contacting the fire department, choice C, contacting bank security, and last but not least, choice D, contacting special squad. These options could also be viable in various different emergency situations. But I believe that your immediate response as an emergency services worker to this potential suspicious or criminal activity involving unidentified individuals should involve law enforcement, which is responsibility of the police. So I think the correct answer here is choice A, contacting police. Did you come up with the different answer? In this case, please make sure to post your answer, solution, and rationale in comments. In this section, we will look at the sample questions for cognitive test, which represents an assessment used by employers to evaluate candidates' mental abilities such as problem solving, critical thinking, and memory. The questions in the test can vary, but typically involve math problems, logic puzzles, spatial reasoning, and verbal comprehension. Let's look at some sample cognitive assessment test questions we typically see on the test. Here's a very interesting question to test your spatial reasoning. You're presented with partial square, and you need to find the missing shape to build the full square. You have 4 different choices to choose from to complete the square. Choices A, B, C, and D. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. And on my end, I'm moving forward to share with you the correct solution. As you might have figured out, the correct choice here is choice D. And to get to this answer, you need to look at the shape, which fits perfectly to match the edges. Since this is the 5 by 5 square, choice D is the perfect shape, because it matches perfectly to create a full square. Hopefully you've nailed this question on your own and now know how to answer similar problems on the test. And now I have a question for you to test your skills. You're presented with the series of objects, and you need to determine next object in the sequence. Please choose one of the following 4 choices. Choices A, B, C, and D. Do you see the correct answer? Please make sure to post your version in comments. This would allow me to give you my feedback. Thanks for participating and good luck. Here's an amazing question where we need to find the missing number. You're presented with the tree-looking like structure, and it has the numbers in the circles on the top. The numbers are, if we start from the left, 50, 216, 880, and then comes the missing number. You need to calculate and select the missing number out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 1290. Choice B, 2565. Choice C, 2941. And last but not least, choice D, 3536. I'm gonna give you a quick hint. Take a close look to see what exactly do you see on this picture. And you see circles, you see stems, and you see numbers. And here's another consideration. Do you think the fact that circles have different colors matters? Or it doesn't? Give yourself 10 to 15 seconds to see if you can figure it out. On my end, I am moving forward to share with you my version of the solution. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. The pattern here is rather simple, but it takes a little bit of time to detect it. If we start from the left, from the smallest number, and go clockwise, the next number is calculated as a previous value multiplied by the total number of lines plus total number of circles. Let's look at the example. The first number is 50 in the purple circle, and it's given, not calculated. The second number, though, is calculated previous number 50 multiplied by 4 plus 16, and the result of this is 216. Third number is calculated as 216 multiplied by 4 plus 16 and equals 880. Now you might be wondering what is 4 and where it came from and what is 16. The 4 is number of stem lines in this structure. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 16 is the total number of circles. If you count them, you see 4 circles on the forefront, the ones that have number and missing number. And then there are also 12 circles in the background. Now we have all of this information and we can calculate the missing number. It is calculated as 880 multiplied by 4, then we add 16, and the end result of this is 3536. So the correct answer here is choice D, 3536. Hopefully you've nailed this problem and now know how to answer similar problems on the test. But in case you need more challenges like this, please make sure to check out the description for additional resources. One of the most frequent questions we get on this channel is how to improve your pattern recognition skills. This is so important because it's an essential skill to help you pass an employment assessment test. Let me introduce you to one of the most common English pattern called palindromes. Palindromes is a letter-based pattern which allows you to read the same word backwards and forwards. Let's look at some key examples of the words that used in the test. For example, words radar, civic, level, a race car, henna, madam, noon, pop, eve, kayak, rotator, stats, tenet, wow, and a lot of others. Do you know any those other words, interesting palindromes that I didn't mention here? Please make sure to post them in comments so we can all learn. And now let's continue to get you ready for the test. In this section, we will look at numerical reasoning test questions frequently used in a test. Numerical reasoning assessment test is a standardized evaluation designed to assess individuals' ability to understand and work with numerical data, make calculations, interpret charts and graphs, and draw conclusions from quantitative information. The typical content of numerical reasoning test can vary, but often include topics such as basic arithmetic, percentage and ratios, data interpretation, financial analysis, mathematical problem solving, number sequences, and a lot of others. Let's look at some sample numerical reasoning assessment test questions we typically see on the test. Here's one of my favorite questions to test your analytical skills and attention to details. You need to determine which of the values is the smallest. And you're presented with 5 different values. The choices are A, 3/4, choice B, 0.6, choice C, 7/12, choice D, 0.7, and last but not least, choice E, 4/5. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. Did you figure it out? I am moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. To get to the correct answer, we need to convert all the values to the common format. You can convert all the values to decimals, or you convert all the values to fractions. It doesn't matter, but it has to be common. I chose decimal format. 3/4 in decimal is 0.75. 0.6 is 0.6. And 7/12 is 0.583. 0.7 has the same value, and 4/5 is 0.8. Now you can easily see that the smallest value is choice C, 7/12, which is approximately as 0.58333. Did you get to the similar solution? If not, please make sure to post your answer and solution in comments. This is one of my favorite questions because it tests your analytical skills as well as your abilities to identify sequences. You're presented with the series of numbers, and you need to identify the pattern and select the option that completes the series. Take a close look at the numbers. The numbers are 2, 5, 9, 14, and 20 in the first row. Second row is 3, 6, 10, 15, and 21. The third row is 4, 8, 13, 19, and 26. And last but not least, the fourth row has the series of numbers 1, 2, 4, 7, 11, and then comes the missing number. You need to detect the pattern and select the missing number out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 17. Choice B, 16. Choice C, 23. And last but not least, choice D, 18. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the solution. Are you ready? Because I already found my solution, so I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. The key to solve these types of challenges is obviously to identify the pattern and not to overthink it. If we look at the series of numbers, we have 4 independent rows, and each row represents an independent sequence which follows the same pattern. So what is the pattern? And the pattern here is rather simple. The next number is calculated as previous number plus the increment. An increment increases by 1 with each subsequent number. Let's look at the example on how calculations are done for the first row of numbers. In the first calculation, the increment is 3. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Then increment increases by 1, and from 3 becomes 4, which means 5 plus 4 equals 9. Then increment increases again, and 9 plus 5 equals 14. 14 plus 6 equals 20. I'm going to skip rows 2 and 3 so you can do calculations independently to practice your skills, but I am going to do the calculations for the last row. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Increment increases by 1, so 2 plus 2 equals 4. 4 plus 3 equals 7. 7 plus 4 equals 11. And last calculation, 11 plus 5 equals 16. So the correct answer here is choice A, 16. Did you get to the same answer? If not, maybe you have a better way to solve it, so please make sure to post in comments so we can all learn. In this section, we will look at the logical reasoning questions that are used to evaluate candidates' ability to reason and draw logical conclusions from the information given. The questions on this type of test typically involve sequences of shapes and numbers, analogies, and deductive reasoning questions. let's look at some sample logical reasoning assessment test questions to get you prepared. Here's a tricky problem which some might find challenging, but you, being a subscriber to this channel, will solve very easily. You're presented with 3 expressions. Each expression is of a different color. And one of the items in the third expression, which represented by the blue color, is missing. You need to select the missing item, which is currently question mark, out of 4 possible choices. Choices A, B, C, and D. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. Consider pausing this video to see if you need more time to find the solution. On my end, I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. To solve any challenge, the key is to find the pattern. And this question is no exception. The pattern here is rather unusual, but it still exists. And the pattern here is that there are 3 core shapes represented by objects in the first column. The core objects here are arrow pointing up, star, and the circle. And all remaining objects are just the variations which is created by merging core objects into another object. Let me demonstrate by starting with the red sequence. Red sequence is created by starting with arrow, merging arrow with the star, and then merging the result with the circle. Yellow expression is created by starting with the star, merging it with the circle, and then merging the result with the arrow. And last but not least, blue sequence starts with the circle, completes the merger with the star, and then missing item can be created by doing another merger with the arrow. As you might have noticed, the objects here presented as expressions instead of being a sequence. There's no other reason to do it than just to confuse you. Did you get to the same answer? If not, please post your ideas, solution, and rationale in comments. I love this challenge because it tests your analytical skills and spatial reasoning skills so well. You need to find the resulting shape after the transformations. You're presented with the square that consists of different triangles of a different color. And you need to turn the original shape 90-degree clockwise 3 times. You have 4 different choices to select the shape after the transformations. Choice A, B, C, and D. Take a close look to see if you can calculate the final solution. Did you figure it out? Because I am moving forward to share with you my version and my way of solving it. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. To solve this challenge, you need to mentally turn the original shape 90 degrees 3 times. This is not easy to do because our brain is not really designed for this. But if we take one of the triangles and try to follow this triangle by turning the original square, this task might be much easier to accomplish. The caveat here is that we need to select triangles that are not symmetrical on both sides. For example, red triangles are symmetrical. You see red triangles on the left and red triangles on the right. And if we try to follow it, it would be extremely hard to detect where the red triangle will end up. But if we take green triangles, any one of them, or yellow triangles, they're much easier to follow. So let's do the turning. Let's take the original square and I am going to follow the green triangle on the left. Let's do the first turn 90 degrees. You see that the green triangle ended up on the top. Let's do another turn. We follow the same green triangle and now it's on the right side. And the last 90-degree turn, our green triangle ended up at the bottom. So the correct choice here is choice A, where green triangle ended up on the bottom. Do you have a better way to solve it? Or maybe did you come up with a different solution? Please make sure to post your thoughts and rationale in comments. Here's a very interesting question which might make you think, but hopefully you will get it very quickly. If 5 people can sew 5 shirts in 5 minutes, how long will it take for 100 people to sew 100 shirts? You're presented with 4 different choices. Choice A, 500 minutes. Choice B, 100 minutes. Choice C, 5 minutes. And last but not least, choice D, 60 minutes. Take a close look, maybe pause this video to see if you can get to the right answer. And on my end, I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. Here's the trick. If 5 people can sew 5 shirts in 5 minutes, we can say that 1 person can sew a shirt in 5 minutes. Now, if 100 people work together, their combined productivity will be 100th that of one person. Because we can scale up so easily in this production, it will take 100 people 5 minutes to sew 100 shirts. So the correct answer here is choice C, 5 minutes. Did you get to the same answer? If you didn't, please make sure to share your answer and rationale in comments. In this section, we will look at Microsoft Excel questions frequently used in a test. Microsoft Excel test is a standardized assessment designed to measure an individual's proficiency in using this powerful spreadsheet software application. This test assesses a candidate's knowledge and skills in various Excel functions, formulas, data manipulation, formatting, and data analysis. It is commonly used by employers during the hiring process to determine a candidate's level of Excel proficiency. This assessment typically includes a variety of Excel tasks and exercises that range from basic to more advanced functionalities within Microsoft Excel. These tasks might involve creating and formatting spreadsheets, performing calculations using formulas and functions, managing data sets, creating charts and graphs, and demonstrating an understanding of data analysis techniques. Let's look at some sample Microsoft Excel test questions we typically see on the test. Here's an amazing question to test your knowledge of frequently used Microsoft Excel functions. Lakshmi needs to determine the smallest quarterly sales amount for 2023. Which of the following formulas can she use in Microsoft Excel to accomplish this? You're presented with the snippet of data, and you have 4 different choices to choose from. Formula min, and then you have values in parentheses, table B3 through table E6. Choice B, min fs, and then value in parentheses B3 through E6. Choice C, min a, B3 through E6 in parentheses, and last but not least, choice D, min B3 through E6. Take a close look, maybe pause this video to see if you can come up with the solution. On my end, I'm going to jump to Microsoft Excel to share with you my version, and obviously if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. I believe the correct answer here is choice D, using min function and then in parentheses supplying argument B3 through E6. To understand the answer, let's look at the data. We have source data for quarterly sales located in the range B3 through E6. We have 4 salespeople on the left, and then we have quarterly sales represented in the row 2. Min function returns the minimum value in the range of cells, and it can be used to determine the smallest quarterly amount for 2023. Since the formula is correct and the range of cells selected is correct, min function will calculate the smallest amount, and smallest amount is equals 253.11. To reinforce the knowledge, let's also look at the incorrect answers to better understand why they are incorrect. Choice A is incorrect because it does not return the valid results. Let's try it. You see that the syntax is not correct. Choice B, min ifs function, sends the incorrect number of arguments into the function and thus generates an error. You've entered too few arguments for this function. Choice C, on the other hand, min a function, has too many arguments and doesn't return any results. So the correct choice here is choice D, when we use the min function to find the smallest sales. Do you have any other suggestions? Please make sure to post them in comments. Here's an interesting question to test how well you know average formula as well as its variations. Isabella is trying to calculate the average new wave sales across all the regions. Which formula should she select? You're presented with the data set as well as 4 different choices. Choice A, average formula and parameters to supply C2 through C10. Choice B, average A formula and parameters supplied are C2 through C10. Choice C, average if formula and the values are C2 through C10 and the second parameters is greater than 0. And last but not least is average if S, and then as the arguments you see the range C2 through C10, second argument is range A2 through A10, third argument is not equal to D, fourth argument B2 through B10, and the last argument is not equals to south. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the right answer. And on my end, I'm going to jump to Excel to show you my version of the solution. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. As you might have guessed, the correct answer is choice A. All you need to do is type the average formula and then select the data set C2 through C10 to calculate the average sales value for all the regions. What's interesting about choice B is that technically it is also a correct answer. Average A with the range C2 through C10 will also calculate the average sales, but it includes all the values in the range, even if they have text or errors. In this case, since all values in the range are numbers, the two functions, choice A and choice B, will give you the same result. What's interesting is that option C, average if with the values C2 through C10 and second parameter greater than 0, calculates the average of all sales that are greater than 0 and gives you the same result. But it's not a recommended option because the end result may not always be the same as average of all sales. And the last choice, option D, average if S with all the parameters that we supply, calculates the average sales for all products and regions, except for the product soda and except the values in the South region. This is more specific calculation than the average of all sales and does not represent the right answer. Did this question trigger some thoughts or considerations in your mind? Please make sure to share in comments so we can all learn. Here's the practice question for you to test your knowledge on your own. Which Excel formula Isabella should use to calculate average new wave sales across all regions? You're presented with the data set that contains product category, region, and sales in thousands, and 4 possible choices. Choices A, B, C, and D. Take a close look, make sure you understand the question, and once ready, please post your answer and solution in comments so I can give you my feedback. Thanks for participating and good luck solving the challenge. In this section, we will look at the most common customer service test questions we typically see on the test. A customer service test is a type of assessment used by employers to evaluate candidates' customer service skills, abilities, and aptitude for dealing with customers. Customer service test assesses various aspects of customer service, such as communication skills, problem-solving abilities, empathy, and professionalism. The typical purpose of the customer service test is to determine candidates' potential for delivering high-quality customer service and their fit for a customer-facing role. This test helps employers to assess how well a candidate can handle customer interactions, resolve issues, and represent the customer in a positive manner. Let's look at some sample customer service test questions we typically see on the test. Here's an interesting question to see how well you would deal with customer service inquiries. A customer is upset because her favorite pizza is currently unavailable. What is the best way to respond? And you're presented with 4 possible choices. Choice A, tell the customer to speak with the manager to resolve the issue. Choice B, offer the customer an alternative pizza option. Choice C, inform the customer that you will check if the desired pizza is in stock. And last but not least, choice D, state that handling this matter is not within your responsibility. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. Are you ready? If not, please make sure to pause this video to see if you can come up with the answers, because I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the solution. And obviously, if you have a better way to resolve it, please make sure to post in comments. As you might have guessed, this question is not about picking one of the choices. This question is about fundamental customer service principles and how you use them to answer this particular question. You also want to make sure to mention all these principles when you're answering this question in person. So what are those principles? There are 4 of them. Number 1 is acknowledging the customer's disappointment. Because her favorite pizza is not available and you show empathy, this shows your understanding of her feelings. Number 2 principle is providing an immediate alternative option, which shows responsiveness and commitment to helping the customer promptly. Number 3 principle is taking responsibility for finding a solution, which exemplifies ownerships and dedication for you to help resolve customer issue. And last but not least is the principle of offering an alternative. In this case, you can offer alternative pizza, which would demonstrate a proactive approach to addressing the customer concern and finding a suitable resolution. Based on these 4 principles, let's look at the incorrect answers and why you might avoid selecting them. Choice A. Tell the customer to speak with the manager to resolve the issue. Using this selection passes the responsibility to the manager and may make customer feel ignored and dismissed, and it is important to take initiative and attempt to assist the customer directly. Choice C. Inform the customer that you will check if the desired pizza is in stock is a good choice. But this is not the best choice. While this response shows some willingness to help, it may leave the customer waiting for the solution. Offering an immediate alternative is a more proactive approach. And last incorrect choice is choice D. State that handling this matter is not within your responsibility. Telling the customer that it's not your responsibility can come across as unhelpful and may lead to further dissatisfaction. You should strive to assist the customer as much as possible within your capacity. So as you might have figured out, I believe that the correct answer to this question is choice B. Offer an alternative pizza option. By offering an alternative pizza option, you address the customer's disappointment and demonstrate willingness to help. In addition to the suggestion, you can also offer to search for her favorite pizza flavors in competitor brands. This approach helps turn a negative situation into a positive one, where you learn more about the customer and find the proactive solution as possible suitable alternative. What do you think about this question? Do you agree with this solution? Do you have a better way to solve it? Please make sure to post your answer and rationale in comments. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you for helping us to become one of the largest YouTube channels to help people become smarter, increase your IQ, and to pass any test. If the content of this video was helpful, please make sure to click the like button to help YouTube algorithm promote this video and help other people to find it faster. Giving us a like is also a way for you to tell us that you need more content like this, and when you tell us, we will deliver it for you in the future. For links to free and premium resources, please check the description and comments of this video. You can also go directly to our website, howtoanalyzedata.net, to download the materials related to this topic. I really appreciate your endorsement, support, and patronage of this channel. And thank you for considering to become a member and considering to subscribe. Please leave feedback, suggestions, or corrections in comments. And all the best on your journey. I'll see you in my next video.